Fangen wir das Video gleich damit an, dass wir hier in einer der besten Lagen Tallinns ein kurzzeitiges Vermietungsobjekt haben und jetzt übergebe ich mal an Tanel, der erklärt, wieso dieses Grundstück so gut ist.
So what I really like about this building is that there are smart locks everywhere, so you don't really need to mess with the keys, to go pick the keys from the tenants or to give the key. It really makes the rental business a lot easier. And as you can see, the first impression you get when walking in is like you're walking into a 5-star hotel. The whole building is developed keeping in mind that it will be for short-term rentals, and altogether the developer, I think, has made a really great job. So you see the wall here. It was actually quite a challenging to renovate all this because this is the terms that the city gave to the developer, that they need to keep the style, and this had like historical value. And this was a really big job. It's small details, but they really put a lot of work into these small details.
Hier noch einige Bilder von der Dachterrasse dieses Apartments für kurzfristige Vermietung, was ich richtig hübsch finde für so ein Apartment, und Tanel zeigt jetzt auch noch ein paar Vorzüge von unserem Apartment auf.
The window is facing the yard, so as you can hear from here, it's a really nice and quiet area if you compare it to the front of the building.
Und hier nochmal ein kleiner Einblick zum Aufgang in das Apartment, in das man hier investieren konnte. Und jetzt geht's auch weiter mit dem nächsten Grundstück, was sich aktuell noch in der Entwicklung befindet. Reinvest24 ist ja eine P2P-Plattform, auf der man langfristig in Immobilienprojekte investieren kann. Und hier sehen wir uns jetzt mal die aktuellste Baustelle an, in die ich auch investiert habe.
In Avantgarde, like I said, the 15 square meter is going for like €7 per weekend, and the demand is pretty high. But for this apartment, we have around 50 square meter with a separate bedroom, and there is a really nice balcony there. Really good infrastructure for transportation if you're traveling with the bus, the airplane, or the Rail Baltic in the future. So I think €60 per day should be a good deal. So the biggest work here has been with the infrastructure, the electricity cables, the water pipe installation, and getting all the permits and all the licenses from the city. Since it's a totally new development, we have built like 2 floors on top of this 2-floor building. As you can see, this is all finished now. It's just a final step to get the paint on the walls, and I would say like a one time inside, and it should already look like ready for furnishing. So I really like the balcony that we have here on the 4th floor. It's not big, but it opens on the quiet side of the building, and I think it's a great addition.
Hier nochmal die Ansicht einer Dachgeschosswohnung, und falls du jetzt sagst, Reinvest24 klingt für mich interessant, habe ich unten in der Videobeschreibung auch den Test zur Plattform für dich verlinkt. Jetzt geht's weiter zum Interview mit euren Fragen. Die Timestamps befinden sich ebenfalls unten in der Beschreibung. Viel Spaß dabei!
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video von Northern Finance. Mein Name ist Alex und ich bin hier heute bei Reinvest24 zu Gast und habe den CEO Tanel Oro hier auf der Couch. Und ja, jetzt switchen wir mal in Englisch und fangen mit dem Interview an. So Tanel, for the people who haven't heard of you, please tell them a few sentences about yourself and how you came to start the company.
So my name is Tanel Oro. I'm the CEO of Reinvest24. The idea originally has been, I would say, cooking for at least 5 years. It all started from Dina Real Estate Agency. They were funding these kind of projects through their private investors. Okay. And they come to an idea that, like looking how the Crowd Estate and EstateGuru and some other established platforms are doing in our region, why not to bring these investments on an open platform and make them available for everyone? So for this 5-year period, while this idea has been in the oven, it has basically just been a matter of getting the right people together, have the specialists from different fields. We have a very strong CTO that has developed a lot of successful platforms in Estonia, and some of these platforms are actually like Rate.ee is now in 16 countries. So we have pretty strong side of that. We have strong side in the real estate from Tina Real Estate Agency, and my experience come from LHV Asset Management Investment Banks.
All right.
And I've heard while I was working there with the customers, I keep hearing that the funds and stocks, they're not so understandable. They're not the first preferences for the retail investors. They would rather like to invest into real estate, rental real estate particularly, for the passive income. But the high entry barrier is just too high for them. They don't have the available money for it. So crowdfunding mechanism actually solves a lot of problems that the traditional real estate investors face, and especially the ones that want to get started with it.
Okay. And how does for you a usual day at the office look like? What do you do? So you had this one video where you made a parody about the one-man company, that you could do everything. But what is it that you do on a daily basis?
Most of my days go by as a business developer, basically.
Okay.
Establishing partnerships, also building the user base for the platform, since this is one of the main focuses at the moment. Also going to see the properties, selecting the right ones, putting together some content for our users, explaining our concept, going to the conferences, and basically representing Reinvest24 in any way possible, basically.
Okay, cool.
I try to be involved with the property selections as well, as much as possible. Well, I always want to come also to see the properties if we find something. Also with the negotiation with the sellers, I try to be involved as much as I can.
And I have received one question also from the investors.
Yeah.
Or I have received several, but this is the first one.
Yeah.
Will there be a German version of your website soon available?
Yeah, well, thanks to Alex. It's going to be available sooner than we expected. We have all the translations done by now. Some proofreading still need to be conducted, but otherwise we hope to launch it by the end of the month. So we have all the translations ready.
Very cool. Okay. And with the German version, there's also another question about a feature, namely the secondary market.
Yeah.
And when will it launch? What features will it have? And are there any fees in the sale or purchase of a project involved?
Yeah, so most of you might know already that we've been working on this for quite some time, for at least past 6 months, and it's been quite challenging since the whole platform needed to be rebuilt basically, because building on top of the secondary market will be taking too much resources and time for later on. So we thought that we need to make this step now while we're still small, rather than doing it later on. But we're getting close.
So basically different coding languages.
Different coding languages, yeah. Moving all the platform coding to one language, that will enable to build on top of that a lot faster and with smaller resources and less bugs as well. So altogether this was necessary, and better to do it now. But but we're getting close, and when we had the meeting with our developers and the CTO in the end of May, they told that they will be putting in like 200 hours of work time in June to finalize this update and get it live. So I'm really hoping that this will be the case, and we'll be able to launch it by the end of June. If not, then probably in the first part of July. Anyway, we're very close. First, we're going to launch the My Investment update. A lot of information is still missing from it. We plan to add the tax reports, all the transactions. I already gave Alex some sneak peeks,
yeah, exactly.
how it will be looking like, how it will look like. Once we conduct that update, we're ready to launch the secondary market. So hopefully by the end of the month, it will be live. We don't plan to set any minimum amounts for buy or sell orders. That means that our users will be able to reinvest their monthly rental income on the secondary market. That will bring also more liquidity to the market. And also credit card buy it now options that users will be able to purchase through their credit cards, the orders. Let's say something very cheap comes into the market and you want to get your hands on it. And the depositing through bank transfer might take too much time and your order might be already gone once your deposit arrives. So they will buy it now option through credit cards. And of course, next step will be the auto invest for the secondary market, so that you will be able to reinvest your monthly rental incomes.
So you can invest €1 you earn with dividends in the secondary market via auto invest.
Yeah.
All right.
It's basically, if you invest €100, your monthly incomes are not going to be very big, but you'll be able to. You might not be wanting to log into the account every time and place the investment manually. So there will be an option that it will be automatically reinvested. This will lead to a really good strategy how to increase your rental income and your returns overall, since the compound interest will kick in like I think 3-4 years. The difference will be already pretty big, since you're able to reinvest monthly basis, not yearly basis as usually it works. So we will have a strategy guide about that as well after the secondary market launch.
I'm looking forward to that. And what do you see as the USP for investors on your platform right now? Because those features aren't live. So let's talk about the state now. What is your USP for Reinvest24?
Well, some of the features are not live yet, but the concept of applying the crowdfunding mechanism to traditional real estate investments would be that you're able to collectively purchase the property and it will be operated for the monthly rental income that is totally passive for our investors. And we don't set any exit dates, so basically you can keep earning the monthly passive income as long as you want. Once you want to exit, you can do so through secondary market. This is something that this concept has a lot of success in USA as well as UK. But if we look our region here in Baltics, this niche is not actually covered. There are a lot of B2B platforms here.
There sure are.
But most of them, they offer you the pretty similar product to invest into. So our idea is to offer the real diversification, and not just between different platforms, but that offer the same product, but actually to create a new instrument or new product that isn't covered in our region here. The rental yield in Baltics is one of the top performing in Europe. So our team has a lot of faith in, and a lot of faith in the rental properties. Particularly, even if the times are bad, the rental demand will be there always, and a healthy monthly cash flow will be for our investors until the market recovers.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see. I'll also upload some of the tours we did from properties, and many things are going on here in Tallinn. Many other buildings are also being renovated, and that's something very nice to see, that growth is really happening around here. And another question I got from an investor was, he has a bronze status, and his question was, what does it mean, and are there any perks with a silver status, or what comes above that?
Yes, this concept is not finalized yet, but where we have levels. It will depend on your portfolio that you hold on our platform. The bigger investors that hold, let's say, 50,000 portfolio will have the platinum level. They will see the new properties. Let's say we will give them some advantages. For some properties, there might be lower fees. The entry fees might be lower. They might see some of the properties before all the other users. Let's say we list them 24 hours before the rest of the users will be able to see.
And then those higher users, so to say, can also already invest in that.
Yeah, they can already. They have like this. We're trying to give some advantages for the for the users that are more loyal to us, basically, and have more trust in us. So this concept is not finalized yet. We have made the levels, but this information about what advantages the levels will get or give you will follow in the next months.
All right, cool, good to hear. And one more question, how does Reinvest24 secure the rights of ownership of the individual investors? So for example, if one wants to increase the rent because one investor says, okay, 7% rental yield might be nice, but I really would like to have 9%, and please increase the rent. So how is this done with the SPV, with the rights of ownership?
Well, yeah, we cannot give these rights to our users since there will be too many conflicts and too many disagreements. So our mission is always to get the maximum out of the property. So you can be sure that if there's a chance that we can raise the rental yield, we will do it. We will definitely do it. So it's something that we're always looking to maximize the profits for our investors. Since we're investing into these projects ourselves as well,
it's
we're
also
taking
in your interest, right?
It's also our interest. It's our interest that our investors are happy and willing to recommend the platform to their peers.
Yes.
So I would say that the investors would not need to worry about this since we are already worrying about this.
All right.
So,
good to hear. And how did the company develop in the recent months of 2019, and what are your plans for the rest of this year?
This year, in the past 5 months, 5.5 months, we have tripled our user base. We have at the moment around 4,000 users and almost 2,000 KYC users that have verified themselves. And this number is growing every day. We set the goal to reach 5,000 KYC users last Christmas, by the end of the year.
Okay.
In the Christmas evening. It wasn't the actual Christmas evening, but the company Christmas event. We set the goal that we try to reach 5,000 by the end, and right now we're on the path to get there. But I think to actually achieve it by the end of the year, we need to improve the platform. We need to launch the features and like the secondary market, tax reports, all this information, all these upgrades, as well as more proof about the profits, the returns, since some of the projects are not producing yield from day one. It's hard to show the actual returns that we can make. We're looking forward for the Mayaka development loan repayment dates, because as the market is going at the moment, it shouldn't be really hard to even be able to sell the properties before the repayment date. So this is another proof of the returns that we're looking forward, and
when should investors expect that to happen?
We have altogether I think five development projects there. So some have by end of September, some have in the beginning of October, and some have by the end of October. So basically September, October will be the dates. that this will happen. So some upgrades on the platform and some proof of returns. This will help us to reach the critical user base to get the properties funded fast enough and to be able to add new properties frequently enough.
Cool. All right. So also deal flow.
Yeah.
Okay. And looking at the peer-to-peer market in general, what developments do you see for the coming years in Europe to happen?
Well, the regulations are really needed for this industry to keep growing at the pace that it's growing at the moment. Since more transparency, trust, and confidence for the investors is needed. For example, for institutional investors to start also investing a small proportion of their portfolio into the B2B crowdfunding. All together, I think it needs some kind of correction on the market, if you would say, to work out the right regulations, to work out more stable
so you're
sector.
saying right now it's too relaxed?
I would say that it cannot grow in the same pace for too long with these kind of regulations that we don't have at the moment. I would say. Something is going to happen if it's going to keep growing at this pace.
Yeah, sure.
There is going to be some event that some kind of correction on the market, like
like we've seen in other markets, like China,
for example.
Yes.
So it's just a question of sustainability.
Yeah, I think that's a very good answer. And about Reinvest24, what concepts or streams of revenue are you looking at in the coming years to stay competitive?
You mean revenue for the company or the volume of the properties and the investors?
Revenue for the company to turn profitable at some point.
We have already knowledge that it will take around 2-3 years to get to that point.
Yes.
It's the whole business model is very long term, as
true.
well as our investment properties are rather long term investments. So the same goes to our business model, but I would say that the point where we start to become profitable is once we have achieved 10 million euros worth of real estate projects, rental real estate projects that we operate. From that point, just alone from the rental, the operating fee will be enough for the platform to become profitable. But otherwise, the secondary market, I forgot to tell that the entry fee 2% will remain the same as in the funding round. So it depends on the
fee. Who will pay that fee?
The buyer.
The buyer.
Always the new user that enters to the project will be the one who pay, because the seller already paid it in the funding round. Otherwise it will be double. So no fees for the sellers, but for the buyers there will be this 2% fee as well. So it will depend on the volume on the secondary market as well to say that we will be profitable at this level or that level. But altogether 10 million euros worth of rental real estate will be from the operating cost. We will become profitable.
Okay. And Reinvest24 has deal flow, but also has had in this year problems of catching up with growth in users. How will you make sure this situation doesn't repeat itself in the future, so you can balance deal flow and investors or new investors?
In March we had like at least 1 week period that we didn't have any properties on the platform, and some of the properties that were under the negotiation didn't turn out to be the ones that we want to list to the platform, as we are very carefully selecting the properties. But if we talk about Sorry, what was the question?
The question was basically how you will sustain the quality while increasing the deal flow.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a wake-up call for the real estate team, since we actually have quite big real estate team, but they were like more feeling that the ball is on my court or our court, that we need to grow the platform, need to build the functionalities, need to grow the user base, that they were like a little bit too relaxed for finding the properties. For us, and this was like a good wake-up call for them, that the platform and the user base can actually grow that much faster in some periods, and we need to be ready for that. So at the moment we have like meetings every week, and we keep them busy with finding the properties for us. Before it was a little bit more laid back, and they were like looking to us more like if the platform, the secondary market is launched already, or how many users we have, or like that. But yeah, that changed in March, and right now we try to keep at least 3-4 properties in negotiation at all time.
Okay.
So
I think that's a new information, right? Or is it already out?
It's not out, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
But this is just something that we need to keep the focus on. We cannot let the real estate team too laid back, you know, waiting for something to happen, because once it happens, then it might be already too late, because these kind of agreements, they're not made overnight. With some properties they can like over a month with all the negotiations, with agreements, and to finalize the contracts.
Yes.
So if that moment is there already, then it's too late already.
Yeah.
Since it will be like at least few weeks without any properties on the platform.
Okay, thank you very much.
So that has been like a wake-up call for the real estate team.
I imagine. And now let's get to the final part of this interview. What would be your advice to someone who is just starting in P2P lending, maybe watching this video? And how should this person use the Reinvest24 platform?
Well, a lot of new people that are new to the B2B sector section that I've been talking to, they're like choosing at first like few platforms to start investing in. But one thing I would recommend to keep in mind is it's not just a question of the different platforms. If you're looking for to diversify your portfolio, it's a matter of let's say that some platforms, they might use the same loan originators in our region. So you're actually investing into the same, the risk is the same as you would invest from one platform, or you're using 3 platforms. If you're investing into the same section, the diversification is not that great really. Reinvest offers a totally different product. So it's offering a bit greater diversification than just using like 10 platforms or 15 platforms that all offer you the same product. Of course, different regions would be one thing to keep in mind, and also the instruments that you're investing into. Do the due diligence, read about it, read about the projects. Don't just put 100 euros there, 100 euros there, and 100 euros there, but try to look deeper into the projects as well, and where you're actually investing into.
So do your research before you actually act on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do some, of course, tests if you don't, if you have a lot of money, and you can just make your judgment by the returns that you get. But altogether, if you want real diversification, look at what the platform is actually offering you. Is it different from what the platform that you're already investing in is offering to you, and how big the diversification really is for you.
Okay. And if the viewers are having some more questions after watching this interview about your platform, Reinvest24, who should they address with this?
They should send them straight to me.
All right.
I'm always
very straightforward.
At this stage, I'm always like happy to get any feedback or any questions that the users don't get to figure out themselves on the platform. So this is also a sign to us that we need to improve that section, and we take all the feedback very seriously. We're trying to find, you know, the right market fit for our product, and to give our users a good experience on the platform. So if something is missing, something is unclear, you can always email me.
The email will be right here.
Yeah. So I will be happy to get any feedback or any questions, because it will help us to develop a better platform and better product for our users.
Okay. Tanel, thank you very much for your time and having me here at your offices.
It's been a pleasure, and if anyone feels that they want to, or if they plan to come to visit Tallinn, our doors are always open. You can always contact me and you can come by. We'll be happy to host you here.
Cool, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Und jetzt zum Schluss vom Video noch ein kleiner Einblick in das, was bei Reinvest24 bald kommt. Es handelt sich hier um eine Immobilie und in dieser Immobilie sitzt ein Restaurant im Erdgeschoss, das du hier gerade siehst. Dieses Projekt wird bald live gehen und es gibt einen Mietvertrag über 5 Jahre, der hier unterzeichnet wurde. Super leckeres Essen, ein bisschen hipstermäßig aufgezogen, gefällt mir auf jeden Fall sehr. Lasst dem Video jetzt einen Daumen nach oben da und vergesst nicht zu abonnieren.